Okay, well, welcome everyone to our Chart Your Course from Vessel Health. I'm Sally, business development there at Vessel Health now for a good long time, and we have a very special treat for everyone. And I want to just say welcome to all of our community and Passport members and friends and family. We're happy that you're joining us, and we're looking forward to this great presentation that Marnie has put together for us. If you all saw the flyer, you'll know that it's kind of in line with our focus of New Year, New You 2022. And this is a mindful approach to your New Year's goals. And I think that's going to really be a great way to jumpstart some of the things that we're already trying to accomplish, right? So looking forward to that. And I'm going to hand that over to Marnie. And welcome, Marnie. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sally. I really appreciate being able to come in and be part of this wonderful endeavor that Vessel Health has and this community that shows up. So I see new faces popping in right now, and that's really great. I'm so delighted to be here. This might be my third time with you guys. And so just to let you know again who I am. My name's Marnie Rehm, and I spent 20 years being a public school teacher, only to find out that as life happens and different things would come in and affect how schools go and education, and especially now with COVID and all the things that have changed in there. There's a lot of stress, and I think, in our jobs and in our family responsibilities, we can often feel a lot of stress. So I found myself going into meditation just for myself, mindfulness, and learning about that and sharing it with my students. And it just got to a point where I realized that was my subject. And so now that's what I do. I'm certified and I teach mindfulness programming. I also do a lot of things with nature. So I do nature one-on-one guided hikes with mindfulness meditation out in nature. So I have a company called Living into Mindfulness, and I can tell you more about that later. But right now, what I am delighted to do is come in and just really have a great conversation with you guys about our New Year's goals and the way we relate to them, and bringing a bit of mindfulness into that. The way we relate to them and the thoughts that we have around our goals can either nourish and support us in seeing our goals through, or it can derail us and have us feel really justified in just like dropping those goals. And so I thought that we could do a kind of a fun exploration at first, a little interactive with you, and then I'll do a guided meditation. So thinking about New Year's, I really spent some time like wondering, why is it that every January, this is arbitrary, right? Just every January, we all want, just because of a number that changes on our calendar, we all want to have a new year, a new you. I mean, I've wanted that my whole life. It's just something we do in our culture. And so looking at maybe why that came about was really liberating. Like a lot of us spend the holiday season overindulging a little bit. I don't know if you're like me, but maybe that extra cookie because I baked the whole dozen, or someone gave them to me as a gift, right? And also too, sometimes it gets hard to say no when family obligations, or that other person that bought us a gift, now we have to go out shopping and like buy this gift. And so there's all these things where we might be overindulging in shopping, or overindulging in eating, or overindulging in obligation, or socializing, one too many functions to attend, and it can take its toll on us. So then in January, when that all comes to a close, we feel this need to find balance, right? We feel this need to I need to get back on track. I need to bring a little bit more health and focus back into my life. And so there's a beautiful rhythm to this, right? So we tend to make New Year's resolutions or New Year's goals. And in and of itself, that's a really wonderful thing. It depends on how we relate to it though, right? So if we set up our New Year's goals out of for example, we may just take a deep pivot into really restricting what it is we eat, or a deep pivot into forcing ourselves to work out to the point that there's no balance. And so what I'm offering today is a way for us to become aware of what what's really behind our goals, right? And when we bring that awareness in, then maybe we can expand the way we think about ourselves with our goals, or the way we think about setbacks when maybe we drop the ball because our goal was too rigorous or too much of a pivot from what we were doing. So that when we have a little softness, there's a little spaciousness too. And in that spaciousness, we can respond instead of react. And so what I'd really like to do today is, if you have a minute, to grab a piece of paper and something to write with, that would be great. So I'm going to have you draw a circle on your paper. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just any old circle will do, and divide it into 4 pie pieces. I've done this with up to like 12 pie pieces, but for today, I'm thinking 4, kind of like that, the cardinal directions, right? Towards the east, we get the rising sun. So we get that like creative energy, that new, that rebirth. What do we want to rebirth in our life? That kind of thing. Towards the south, we get that growth, right? We get, I don't know, on the south facing wall of our home, maybe we can have a really great garden. It gets more sun in the wintertime. Maybe have a winter garden going, that kind of thing. So we can look at the earth element. In the west, we have the river, we have water, we have the ocean if we look even further, and we have that ability to be in the flow. And then if we look north, we have mountains from where we are. We have the Rocky Mountains up north of us, and so on. And so we can find that sense of like, I don't know, that solidness, that maybe that wisdom in our life. So just putting some energy into the 4 pie pieces that you've drawn on your paper, I invite you to think of 4 areas of your life, and on the outside of the circle, write them down, that maybe you are setting a New Year's resolution around, or a goal. So for me, I'll just give you an example to make that a little bit easier for you. I want to bring a little bit more weight-bearing exercise into my life. I recently lost 30 pounds, but being over 50, the skin and the muscles, they don't quite rebound the same way. So I want to bring more movement and weight-bearing exercise into my life. So I labeled that one as movement. Also, I want to find on my other pie square or triangle, I want to find a little bit more ways to be more focused and still and at ease. So I'm putting ways that I can bring stillness and focus or ease into my life. I'm also looking at, how do I nourish myself? I don't want to approach dieting with restriction. I want to feel invited into exploring new ways of eating. And so I put nourishment as that, or diet in quotes, as that pie piece. And then I also want to just be a little bit more creative in my life. So these are where I'm setting my New Year's resolutions or my goals. So I invite you then to think of it. I'll be silent for just a minute and give you some time to think. What are your 4 areas that you'd like to take stock of? So what we're going to do is we're going to say where we think we have, where our energy falls at this moment, from a 0 to a 10 in those areas. So the 0 being the center point. Can you see this okay? And the 10 being out at the edge of the circle. And so this isn't a way for us to judge ourselves, but really a way to take stock. So with your pen or pencil, or if you have markers, I'm going to use color just because I'm trying to be more creative. And then go ahead and color in or shade in. I'll give you an example. I'm going to do my creativity one first. I'm feeling like I'm about a 5. So just quickly, I went ahead and shaded in about halfway. And so go ahead and take a few moments here to take stock. Where's your energy on that? Are you going for it? Is this an area that you really have? Like for me, the nourishment and diet, I'm really rocking that in my life right now, having lost 30 pounds. So I'm going to color that one in all the way up to a 10 because I want to celebrate that area of my life right now. Giving myself some credit. So just so you can see something like that. Doesn't have to be precise. Just kind of getting a glimpse at where we have put our energy and effort. And so as you're doing that, I'll show mine and talk you through some things. So keep at yours. What this does for me, I call it a life wheel. It gives me a way to come at my goals with a growth mindset. So I can celebrate areas that I'm rocking. If you want, you can make this into a journal and you can start to like really put down what's working in that area, right? So I can write down the things that I have been doing, watching my salt, only eating fruit instead of adding sugar. Like if I need a sweet thing, I'm eating a piece of fruit, that kind of thing. You can also, like on this area, my movement, I'm not exercising that much, you know? So I can list some ideas that come to mind in ways that I can add more movement. Or I can write down, well, why not? What's stopping me? Like what can I become aware of right now that is kind of showing up? Like where am I talking myself out of going and taking a walk or getting on my bike? So it's just a way for me to look at this. And then over time, I can come back to this in a couple of weeks. I can do it again. I can do one side by side, or I can put my number and put the date and shade it in with another. Maybe I want to do cross hatching or diagonal lines, and I can begin to layer on this and see my growth right on the same chart. Yeah. So no one has to share. I see that you guys are muted. But if anyone wished to share what they're thinking or seeing or noticing, feel free. I'll give you a little space to bring that into this community conversation if you wish.
So Marnie, I'll go ahead and share. And mine is tiny, but I put inside mine some adventure. Life has gotten so busy that I've let go of doing some fun things. And not to say, you know, I have animals and taking care of my daily chores can be joyful, but I'd like to do other fun activities. So I'd like to see more of that. So right now, that's probably my smallest area. Mm. And then also I put down to strengthen my relationship with my husband, but I see those interrelated because I see if we add more adventure into our life, I think that would help build the relationship with my husband too.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Almost like this element of playing together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's how I kind of saw it.
Beautiful. Great. Thanks for sharing that. It's neat too, because when we do it this way, when we can make it kind of more paper and pen, we bring it into some form, we can see it newly. Like maybe you hadn't seen the connection. You have this desire for more adventure. You have this desire to connect with your husband, but seeing it side by side like this, you can be like, wait, when I get growth in one area, it might impact my other area. Like I already saw, like, I should have put a 6 on creativity because I used color. And so I can begin to see like, oh yeah. And it's interesting too, when I, movement is my smallest area and stillness is bigger. When I'm more still, I actually have more space for movement because I can feel the restlessness when I sit to meditate. And it's like, my body wants to move today. Conversely, when I'm out there and I take my bike ride or my hike or my walk, I'm way more ready to sit down and meditate because I kind of got that out of my system. So they're so interwoven. I love that you brought that in. Great. Well, did anyone else have anything they wanted to share or bring in? No one needs to, though. Do what feels right. Yeah. Okay, Cheryl.
Hi. I put my 4 quadrants at creativity. I'm a photographer these days, and so that's very high. It's almost up to the top. I do that a lot. Just going clockwise, then I have walking or exercise. I feel like I've fallen off on that since I can't travel as much to go photograph and things, and with the COVID, and I've just gone way behind. Also then nutrition, it's because I'm not moving enough and I'm not traveling, I'm eating more, and so I'm kind of going backwards on my health goals. And the last one I have is spiritual. Well, it's almost as high as the photography creativity, because I've been doing projects about spirituality in my photographs. Wow. So that's where I'm really linked. So I didn't have color because I didn't get it out, but it looks like I have an arrow pointing to.
Wow.
The creativity seems to be in good shape, and along with my spirituality thinking and all, and so that really shows me where I need to shift my focus.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And it's interesting, as you're saying that, I kind of got this sense like when you're moving more, it is something about getting that body moving. It can have a positive impact on your spiritual piece, and exploring, getting out with your camera, taking a walk, gives you that movement, but it also can, if you're a nature lover, or you just seek beauty through your photography.
You see,
yeah. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Yeah. Making space. Well, I appreciate you engaging in that.
Thanks.
It's your tool. You can use this however you see, however you wish. Yeah. So one of the things I'd like us to do is a short meditation where we can become aware of our thinking mind, because our thoughts create our reality. And if our thoughts are sabotaging our efforts, we can become aware of that self-sabotage when we meditate, when we have a mindfulness practice of some sort. And we can respond, with the gift of clarity. But if the thinking that we notice is nourishing, like some of us noticed, we have these areas that are really supporting us, right? Then we can also just rest in the grace of that. I have this wonderful thing in my life that's working for me. And that can be what helps us, guides us through. Right? But either way, we can begin to observe the tendency of our own thought processes as it unfolds in the present moment. So I'd like us to shift gears now and get in a comfortable position. And I'll do a, how long do I have? How many? Do I have until 6:30?
You do.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. So we'll do, yeah, let's do like a 15-20 minute meditation. And then maybe even longer. I'll try to watch your guys' energy and read this out, and we'll see what happens. So what I'm going to do is kind of guide you in and have you find an anchor where your attention can come back to. And I'm also going to allow you to explore the thoughts that come, because they will, because we think about 3,000 thoughts an hour. The mind will do that. And our goal tonight is not at all through mindfulness meditation. It's never to shut off those thoughts. It's really to bring that clarity and awareness to our thinking mind and begin to understand the nature of our own thought processes, so that when we become aware, we really have that gift of clarity, and that helps us make wiser choices without putting ourselves down or self-sabotaging even further. So we're going to look at what's behind the thoughts a little bit by noticing what we find as pleasant or unpleasant. And I say it like this because if I'm looking at having to exercise, right, then I have naturally, personally, I'm wired this way. My husband is completely opposite. He loves to exercise. I don't. And so if I start having thoughts around my goal of exercise, right, I'm going to have a like or a dislike. I'm going to find it pleasurable or unpleasant. And so when things come up as we try to reach our goals, if something happens that's unpleasant, we tend to push it away and resist. If something is going on we find really pleasant, we can get attached to it, and it drives us in a way. We want more of it. If it doesn't go like that, we're not satisfied. So we're going to explore a little bit the thoughts that we have and explore those tones, those feeling tones that are behind them, that are underneath them, and just name them and give them their space and time, and then not attach, and we're going to let them go. And so what I'm going to do is guide you in now and have you find an anchor. And I'm going to guide you through an experience of 3 different anchors you could choose. And these could change whenever you sit to meditate. They can change based on what you need in the moment. So you guys ready? Okay. So find a comfortable position. You can be laying down, sitting. Eyes can be open or closed for this, but what you're going to do now is you're going to draw your attention inward. And just begin to greet how you feel in the moment. Checking in with your breath, not changing it, noticing it. Is it shallow, deep, fast, slow? Are you aware of it at your nose when it first comes in to the body? Or you're at your chest or your throat maybe? Or at your belly? Where do you notice your breath most clearly? And spend some time bringing your attention to the way the breath moves through that area. Maybe you're noticing the temperature change at the tip of your nose. Maybe you're noticing the expansion of your chest on each inhale. Or maybe you're noticing the swelling in the belly and then the release in the belly. Just explore this for a minute. Maybe the breath isn't the right anchor for you today. Maybe it is. Maybe you need to work on a sense of sound. So exploring the sounds in the room around you. Sometimes we might have a stuffy nose, or breathing just isn't working as a way to find refuge. So you can explore through your sense of sound. It's another gateway to the present moment. And rather than identifying what's making sound, just exploring the quality of the sound, the tone, the silence between sounds. This can be another gateway to finding ourselves in the present moment. And another way we can have an anchor is through the body's sensations. So feeling the weight of your body on the cushion below you. And feeling the support of that chair or floor or bed. Noticing the way the skin feels where it makes contact. And perhaps you notice a pain or a tingling or a restlessness, and just exploring it. So we can use felt sensation, sense of sound, or breath. So find for yourself in the next minute or two, as I sit in silence with you, what is your anchor for this meditation? Breath, sound, feeling. What is the gateway that allows you to just experience this moment as it unfolds most clearly? And now, as you explore your anchor, thoughts may come. And in that moment, we can become aware. We can give the thought a name. And you can call it planning, worrying. You can name it that way. Or you can just realize that worrying is a future event. Right? Rehashing a conversation that you had with someone earlier that's bugging you now, that's a past event, and you can just name it past, future. So finding a way to label your thoughts, acknowledge them, and let them go by returning to your anchor. Just observing here. Maybe you're sitting in the doorway of your mind. And these thoughts are passing through. And we don't need to judge them. We can just allow them through. Almost like we're greeting a friend. Hello, worry. Worrying is like this. And let it go. Returning to breath or sound or sensation. Noticing that whatever your anchor is, when you return to it after that moment of mindfulness, that awareness of thinking, it's not the same as it was the last time you were clearly aware of your breath, of your body, of the sounds. The present moment is always unfolding newly for us. So maybe, what is it like for you in the mind when you focus on the breath or the body or the sound? What is the mind doing when you place your attention on purpose? Just becoming aware. Does it feel unpleasant? Does it feel pleasant? Or are you neutral? Knowing that thoughts are changing and new thoughts are arriving every few seconds. Noticing. Do you like it? Do you dislike it? Are you ambivalent? And as you attune to this experience of simply sitting, notice if a strong experience arises. Make a note. Pleasantness is like this. Discomfort is like this. No reaction. Being neutral is like this. It simply just is. We don't need to overthink or analyze. This investigation can be profound in its subtlety. The tingle, like this. And just noticing this experience of breathing, listening, feeling, whatever's in this sensory experience. When something pulls you away, what is it? What pulls you away? Planning? Judging? Wanting? Becoming aware. Noticing if there's a leaning into or a leaning away from, if there's a pushing or a pulling, a resisting, a desiring. And noticing if there's any desire to manipulate this experience, this meditation, so that you can maximize it being a positive one, or if there's just a resting in what it is, as it is, or a resisting. Just noticing what the mind wants to do the longer we sit together. And seeing how having that anchor for your focus, seeing how that can support you, guide you back to this new moment. This next breath. And then notice if that same anchor still supports you. And so here, we'll take a couple more minutes, bringing your attention fully back to your anchor. Noticing how your relationship to that anchor has shifted over these last few minutes. Noticing how the energy in the mind has either lessened or intensified. Noticing how The mind is in relationship to you, focusing on something on purpose. The way we focus on our goals, the mind will do all sorts of things with it. Now taking a big breath in together, releasing the pelvic floor actually, and filling the belly and filling the lungs, full diaphragm breathing. And when you exhale, pulling up the pelvic floor, the belly button back to the spine, and give a full breath out. Move that energy out, filling it in with a new breath, pushing out all that stagnant energy. One more time. And then taking some gentle stretches, wiggling your toes and fingers and your arms, perhaps coming back to the group, coming back to each other. I want to read a poem by Rumi, and it is called The Guest House. This being human is a guest house. Every morning, a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness, some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all, even if they're a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture. Still, treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice. Meet them at the door, laughing, and invite them in. Be grateful for whoever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. I love that, because when I spend another day where I didn't walk, I got involved in work, and then I wanted to cook a big meal, and the day is gone, I didn't fit my walk in. That mind, right? I can be angry at myself. I can be disappointed in myself. The mind will fill that space with all sorts of things. But if I can just begin to name it, oh, that's anger. That's disappointment. There's a little spaciousness, it doesn't have to be something I identify with so deeply. I can become more aware of how the mind wants to do that. And there's space there. And with that awareness, I can then choose how I want to respond. I can set an alarm on my phone at lunch. Go take my lunch walk. And tomorrow can be different. Because I became aware. I became aware of what was impacting it, setting this tone, this mood in me. Over enough time, I might give up the whole notion of exercising if I keep letting it sabotage me that way. Right? So I offer that, and I create space again if anyone wants to share what showed up for them in the meditation, what they noticed about their own mind. Do you tend to be a planner, a worrier? Did things like that become clearer, or did you get aware? What could be there for you? And do you wish to share it? So I create space for that. Or did anyone have any questions maybe? What was that like?
I thought that was really pleasant. I really liked the poem, especially to think about go to the door and greet the guest and tell them to come in.
Mhm.
It's a nice way to think about intruding thoughts or intruding people or whatever. It's
Yeah,
kind of acceptance.
yeah. The other day I felt some anger, and we tend to like hide that away from everyone. Oh no, I'm fine. I'm great.
Mm-hmm.
But I just said to my husband, I just need to name what I'm feeling right now. I don't know where it came from. I don't know why I have anger, but I'm having it right now. Instead of I am angry, right? We learn to name it, and then we don't have to be it.
Mm.
It's something I can give a name to that's not me. Yeah, beautiful. Thanks
I
for
was hoping-
sharing that. Yes?
You could give us the title of the poem. Maybe we can, if you could share it with us, or I can find it and share it.
Yeah, I'll put it in the chat. It's called
Okay.
The Guest House by Rumi.
Okay.
I subscribe to Rumi's writings on just social media, but I love them. Every time I read them, they're very profound and always hit you just kind of when you need it.
Yeah.
Like I think that one did as the meditation, was nearing, just the fact that it really did kind of encompass all the thoughts that were probably, kind of intruding, but yet, like you say, you have to kind of think of that as something that is there. There's a reason. And you don't have to analyze it either. That was the other side of me. I kind of tend to think that I have to really, overthink it and get to the root and figure all that out. And so it was very pleasant meditation because I felt like I was just letting them come and go and kind of fleet through, which is not my normal nature. So that was really, it was great for me. I feel kind of like just this real still calmness. And that's the best part of a meditation, right? I mean, you can feel that.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, if we go in looking for that, we never find it.
Right. And I had no premonition of that or preparation of that's what I'm doing. It was just more like kind of like you led us into. I mean, it was like, what's my anchor? It was sounds and how that lulled me actually into this beautiful, perfect place. And a lot of times we think that we need to drown out the sound. So that was very thoughtful and it makes sense to me now.
I love it.
Yeah, thank you.
Beautiful. I like to offer more than one anchor. Sometimes we get over focused on the breathing. I can't say enough about how great it is to focus on breathing. It can be so life-changing. At the same time, like for me, I was talking, guiding you. So I tried the breath and then I was like, this isn't working because I'm talking. So my breathing keeps changing. So I went to sound because my refrigerator keeps clicking. And I was like, okay, that's good. I focused on that. Oh, it's not clicking this time when I got quiet and stopped talking. And oh, it's clicking again. And so just like experiencing that ever-changing nature of the fridge. Love it.
Yeah, it was very positive.
Good.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, great. Well, and as you relate to your goals over time, you guys, these thoughts are going to come. I'm not creative enough. I'm not moving enough. I'm not still enough, right? And then we can get discouraged in ourselves and just throw them out. Fine, I give up. But if we can work with them like this, then we can be like, why am I not? Why didn't I take that walk today? Instead of beating myself up for not taking that walk. We bring this practice of awareness that we just experienced in meditation to our goals. And then we're bringing mindfulness off the cushion into our daily life. And that's really why we meditate, is so that we can begin to have all those gifts, all that awareness, apply it in our daily life. And that's where the benefits really lie. Yay. Thank you, everybody. I'm glad you came.
Thank you. Nice.
Glad you invited me. I appreciate it. May I just say a couple things about what I have to offer?
Please. Thank you, Marnie.
So on Thursday nights at 6:30, I do a monthly, like a monthly membership. And so we meet from 6:30 to 7:15, 7:30, something in between there. Right now it's just a small group of women. I'm really enjoying that energy of it being all women. Men are welcome, but right now it's just women, and I do guided meditations similar to this, and we explore different themes. And since it's a small group and I can tailor it for each week, people can text me and say, I'm really struggling with this week. And I kind of craft the meditation based on what the group wants. So that's way different than an app guided meditation. It's tailored. So I offer that on Thursday nights, and usually it's a fee per month, but for you guys, I would offer anyone in the Vessel Health community, if they emailed me, I would offer them the rest of January Thursdays as well as February as like a little extra bonus for signing up for February. I would give them a login now and they could begin tomorrow. So I also can work with people on a different price point if people are experiencing financial hardship, especially because of COVID. So feel free to reach out to me. I'll put my email in the chat. Living into mindfulness at Gmail. Because that's what we're learning how to do. Live into being more mindful. And I also do one-on-one guided nature hikes where we meditate in nature and explore the natural world. And it's a little bit more spiritual work. So that's another thing that you can find on my website, which is also just livingintomindfulness.com. So I'd love to be of service and support you in your goals and your self-regulation skills, because they empower us when we have someone to practice with. Otherwise, it's hard. So I appreciate that. I appreciate being able to talk about what I'm doing and offering that here to you guys. And I appreciate being invited. So thank you so much.
You're very welcome. I think it's important that we all kind of just remember to be open to all the different gifts and things. Like, your offer is wonderful. Thank you so much. We support you. We support each other. We have our lifestyle program that we support wholeheartedly, and thank you all for that. So it's real important that we kind of just look at things as being, when these gifts come into our lives, there's reasons for that, and there's no one to say that it's it's okay to collaborate and to learn from each other and to do things based on what awakens you to do something different. It's okay. I think everybody should look at those kinds of things and support one another. And there's a lot of things coming even for us as a group that are going to affect us individually. And I'm very excited about that. I know change is always hard because the word has always been associated with something difficult for people. But like you mentioned in the very beginning about, just how we all look at, our new year and what we need to do and how we need to do it differently and what can we, change and all those kinds of things. But, change is, for me, it's a very positive. So I just, I hope that that means, you know, how that can transcend to all of our lives, and supporting one another and lifting us all up to do better, and to have those successful types of sharing in their business and endeavors. And that's really what women, you know, we're really good at that. And I think it's important that we all kind of recognize that and know that there's definitely enough to go around, especially if you look at things as I've always looked at something as a circle. It's always a full circle. So we're always wanting to give and be bigger, and do, you know, be the bigger person, and give to others and do all these things. Well, all these things always come back. So it's really important that we always look at that as it's not taking away from, it's actually building upon. So
Beautiful.
thank you. I'm anxious for a lot of things for all of us. So I'm going to stay here with big, you know, open eyes and open ears, and just hearing good things about you, Marnie. So thank you for joining us and sharing that with us.
Beautiful. All right. Well, everybody have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hey, everybody. Next month is our focus on, it's National Heart Health Month. So just so everybody's aware, we're obviously going to be focusing on the heart. And it's going to be very exciting, because we all know that organ is basically, it's so diverse, you know, because it's feelings, it's how we look at each other, how we look at inwardly, and how we treat ourselves, how we treat others. There's so many aspects of our heart. So it's going to be exciting. So tune in, everyone. And Marnie, please tune in. We'll send you a calendar.
Oh yeah. Have you guys looked at what's available on the Heart Math Institute?
I like heart math. I've done some study of it, and we have a friend that's associated with us that does heart math. She's trained.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be really awesome.
So
Yeah.
Marnie, it was interesting because I was listening to Greg Braden today, and he did an activity that was associated to heart math. And what he was sharing was the difference between us and other animals on the earth is that we have the capability to self-regulate. And you actually use that term, and how we use meditation to regulate ourselves. And so it was interesting to hear you say that, when I had just heard that today through Greg Braden, who is also doing heart math. So
Synchronicity.
I know.
That's the magic of it.
Nice, Denise. Thanks for sharing. Well, Marnie, again, thank you for everything. Thank you, all of our members and friends, and have a wonderful evening.
All right.